one of those days that just started out bad for Baby Bear. Mama had gone off to look for some yummy berries to supplement their diet, and Papa had already left for the day's fishing expedition. And Little Bear was all alone in the cave. He wanted to go out and play, but he was too afraid of the outside world. There were scary noises everywhere, and so many things he didn't understand. What if some of those things wanted to eat him? Was it safe to go out? Should he call out for his mom? No, she would be back soon. But what about now? Little Bear sighed, sat down on his haunches, and started to cry. His whimpers echoed through the cave. Suddenly, a butterfly fluttered past the entrance, dancing in the sunlight as it flew. It landed on a rock nearby and began to slowly close its wings. Little Bear watched as it did, and he crawled closer. The butterfly opened one of its wings slightly, and Little Bear gasped. It was beautiful. Different shades of blue swirled together with tiny silver sparkles. As he watched, mesmerized by its beauty, the butterfly slowly opened its other wing. The colors! Oh, my goodness. They were even more stunning than the first. It was like looking at the sky on the clearest summer day. Only better, because there was something magical about seeing it up close. But before Little Bear could get too excited, the butterfly closed its wings again, covering up its beautiful colors. Disappointed, he took a step back, then another, until he was sitting down again. He couldn't understand why the butterfly would tease him like that. Just as he was about to give up hope, the butterfly suddenly fluttered its wings again, and it beckoned to Little Bear with an invisible finger. Curious, he followed it outside. Outside the cave, the world looked different than it did from inside. All the scary noises seemed muffled, and the shadows under the trees looked friendly. Still, he was scared. But as the butterfly turned around to face him, Little Bear saw that it had landed on a leaf shaped just like him. Taking a deep breath, he decided to do it. He took one small step outside, then another, until he was beside the butterfly. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for showing me that I'm not alone." The butterfly smiled at him and said, "You are never alone, Little Bear. All the animals in the forest are your friends. You just have to know where to look." With that, it flew away, leaving Little Bear to explore on his own. He walked a little further into the forest and soon came across a babbling brook. He sat down on a nearby stone to admire the fish darting through the water. They were so graceful, so free. Suddenly, one of them leaped out of the water and landed on the stone beside him. Little Bear jumped back in surprise, almost falling into the brook. "Don't be afraid, Little Bear," said the fish. "I'm here to help you." Confused, Little Bear could only stare at the fish. "You see," continued the fish, "your papa told us you might need some help finding your way around today, so we wanted to come and assist you." Overjoyed to have a friend, Little Bear asked, "Will you take me fishing?" "Of course," said the fish, and it disappeared back into the water. Then it reappeared with a small worm dangling from its mouth. Handing it to Little Bear, it said, "Here, use this for bait. You can't fish without it." Little Bear thanked the fish and hurried off to find a suitable fishing spot. He found a nice shallow area where he sat down and cast his line. But after waiting patiently for a while, he started to feel disappointed. Would he ever catch anything? Just then, he felt a tug on his line. Yanking it upwards, he pulled in a large trout and landed it on the bank beside him.
Overjoyed, he hugged the fish tightly, then set it free. He knew his papa would be proud.
Hurrying home, he called out for Papa, then ran to greet him when he arrived. "Look what I caught!" he shouted, holding up his empty line proudly. Papa smiled and ruffled Little Bear's fur. "Well done, son," he said. "Even though you didn't catch anything, you tried your best." After Papa had told stories of his fishing adventures, they all went back to the cave to rest. Little Bear snuggled beside Mama, feeling warm and fuzzy inside. He knew that no matter what happened, he would always have his family and friends to rely on. And that made him feel brave enough to face whatever challenges tomorrow might bring. When he woke up the next morning, the sun was shining brightly and birds were singing sweetly. Excited to start a new day, he got up and went outside to play. He met some of the forest animals who became his friends. They played hide and seek amongst the trees and raced each other through the underbrush. Little Bear laughed and shouted as he ran, feeling happy and free. After playing for a while, he remembered the butterfly and the fish who had helped him the day before. He wanted to thank them, but he didn't know where to find them. Just then, he heard a familiar voice calling his name. Startled, he turned around and saw the butterfly fluttering towards him. "I've been looking for you," it said. "Your fish friends told me you were looking for me." Little Bear nodded shyly. "I just wanted to say thank you for helping me yesterday," he said. "It was no trouble at all," replied the butterfly. "We're always happy to help someone in need." Then the fish popped out of the bushes. "And besides," added the fish, "we were hoping you'd come fishing with us again today." Overjoyed, Little Bear agreed. Together, they spent the day looking for the perfect fishing spot. The butterfly flew ahead, scouting for the best places while the fish swam in the nearby waters, keeping an eye out for any signs of life. After a while, they found a nice quiet stream where the fish could easily hide from predators and Little Bear could cast his line without any distractions. As soon as he dropped his bait into the water, he felt a tug on his line. Pulling it up, he saw a beautiful rainbow trout glistening in the sun. "I caught one," he shouted excitedly, rushing to show his friends. The fish and the butterfly swam and fluttered around him, congratulating him on his catch. Together, they enjoyed the delicious fish as they talked about all the fun they would have in the future. From that day on, Little Bear was never lonely or scared in the forest again. He knew he had his family, friends, and the whole forest to keep him company. Whenever he felt sad or needed help, all he had to do was ask, and someone would be there for him. So whenever you're feeling down, remember Little Bear and the forest friends who helped them? No matter how dark things may seem, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep your head up and don't give up. Your friends will be there for you.